Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Actually, the webinar is about Microsoft Fabric conference. VaultSpeed sponsored them or sponsored the conference for the second consecutive year. And we wanted to cover a bit of the highlights, the things we learned, saw, lived in Las Vegas. And to go through that story a little bit, we invited a few people here into the call. We have Ian from the Microsoft Global Black Belt team, EMEA. And we have Falke, our VaultSpeed commercial VP. So maybe, guys, you can give a quick intro of yourselves, and now we can get started.
Okay, so Ian Clarke, I'm a global black belt at Microsoft covering analytics across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I'm based in Ireland, sunny Ireland.
Or change.
Oh, James. I can't often see that.
Welcome, Ian, and welcome everyone. So I'm Falke. I run global sales with VaultSpeed. Today I'm dialing in from Boston, sunny Boston too. So very happy to be together with you all. FabCon 25 was simply amazing. We had double the people of last year, triple the buzz. Great event, lots of announcements. I've seen more beer in Vegas than I have seen outside of Belgium and Dublin. So that was also fun after the event. And then also there is a Power BI World Champion now. So for the people in the webinar, you can prepare for the contest of next year because there is tickets to be won for SAPCon of next year. And you get to demonstrate your Power BI skills in front of the world. So great conference. Ian, Jonas, what about you?
Maybe I could go next, Ian. So what I loved was the atmosphere also in the expo hall. I went through the keynote, so yeah, amazing. A whole stadium full of excited Microsoft Fabric fans. And right from the beginning, yeah, you could feel the excitement on all of the new features that they have announced. So we'll cover a few of those later in this session. Ian, what did you remember? I think you lived through it online, but still, you must.
That's right. Unfortunately, I was in Vegas last year. I was in Stockholm for Euro FabCon last autumn. I will be in Vienna for it later this year as well. But unfortunately, I had to watch the announcements remotely. But it was incredibly exciting. There was a constant stream of announcements. The LinkedIn posts were very, very exciting. I've been presenting these announcements all week to customers, and I really struggle to fit them into the time I've got because there's so many of them and they're so exciting. But yeah, it's a rocket ship and it's an exciting journey.
Yeah, around 7,000 attendees. If they double it every year, yeah, who knows where it will end, right? That's amazing. Maybe quick intro. We're doing here. It's a VaultSpeed webinar, so maybe it's good for everyone who's watching. Perhaps Falk, if you can walk us through that, through the way we would position VaultSpeed in the Fabric ecosystem.
Yeah, my pleasure. So let me bring everyone on the same page here. So what you see is that this is the end-to-end Microsoft architecture. And like Microsoft, VaultSpeed wants to make lives and IT easier for everyone. So you will see that Microsoft will cover you back to back. So infrastructure on Azure, SQL Server databases for your applications, SharePoint repositories. Then we move over to Lakehouse and Fabric, and then we go all the way up to Power BI and Copilot. The missing automation piece is right in the middle, and this is where you find VaultSpeed. So you got ETL, extract, transform, and load. And what we do, VaultSpeed, is we do away with old school ETL. So we automate the transformation piece in the middle. And we provide you in a SaaS provided way with a transformation engine where you do your preferred data modeling, and then you get 100% accurate transformation code for your fabric. So it's powered by metadata and by the unique VaultSpeed template library. After VaultSpeed, we hand the data back over so the data can continue to flow and it becomes available at the top right for the business users. And with our automation, we can provide them with new data products in less than 2 sprints. So Ian, Jonas, maybe the announcements of Fabric, you can take them away. Thank you.
Yeah. think also what's really important in terms of VaultSpeed is that the way that we do it, how we leverage automation is basically a mountain of metadata, right? You have metadata from sources, metadata on how your business works, and you want to build a model that you want to run in your Fabric environment. So how do you conquer that mountain? How do you climb that mountain? It's by automation, and we use this approach of model-driven automation, where you build a data model, and it's the model that drives the code, not the other way around. There's a lot of automation solutions trying to speed up the coding. In the end, that won't move the needle either. So you really need to work from the business model to get to a point where you can also maintain what you've built. As we go over the there's a lot of stuff. Ian, you mentioned it earlier. You couldn't fit them all into your calls. I understood you just got out of another call where you did basically the same thing and explaining a lot about what's new. Out of the many meetings you must have had, not only in the past 2 weeks, but even before that, what are for you, let's say, the three most important takeaways from this Fabric event in terms of new stuff that was announced?
I think for me, the biggest announcement of the whole week was OneLake security. This was one of the most attractive features of Fabric when we first launched Fabric, but the timelines to get one security implemented were a little bit longer than expected. But it just simplifies securing your platform end to end, so you don't need to think about, you don't need to worry about replicating your security model across your Power BI reports, your warehouse, your lakehouse, your RTI, your files and everything. You define your security models once, row level security, column level security, and it's consistently applied absolutely everywhere. Even if you're just using Windows Explorer to open a file in OneLake, it applies the security consistently. So it just minimizes risk, minimizes the effort, the overhead of managing all of your security models, creates that central point to ensure compliance and governance is applied consistently. It's fantastic. Loads of customers were very excited about that over the last couple of years, and we're waiting for that to be announced. So that's a huge one for me.
I think security and perhaps also governance. I think there were also a few purview announcements in the mix, but security, governance, let's put it quickly into a context of building Data Vault, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do they help each other? Data Vault provides structure that makes it easier to provide security. What's your view?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Data Vault, you've got lots of different stores of data that are used by and accessed by different people with different skill sets. You've got your data marts, whether they are in a data warehouse or a lake house or in Power BI or semantic model. Even just there's 4 different areas to secure your data if you have to do it manually. But then when you go into your lake house or your warehouse, you've got your business vault, you've got your raw vaults. You need to consider securing those too. Lots of data in lots of different places, lots of different types of personas accessing that data. Again, particularly with Data Vault, you could be using your business vault for non-analytics work cases as well. So you can have loads of different kind of entry points for your data. Just simplifying it there with the single way to manage all access, it just guarantees success.
Okay, cool. Any others?
Another one, a personal favorite of mine is for the mirroring for Oracle databases. Just to explain to the people who are listening in, we've got Fabric. The whole intention with Fabric is to simplify your entire data estate. It doesn't necessarily mean locking you into a single platform or anything. It means we consolidate access to your data wherever it lives. We've got shortcuts in OneLake that allow you to access open standards data, whether that's on-prem or in AWS or GCP, and you can bring all of the Fabric capabilities to that data without moving it around. There's no lock-in, it's just accessing blob storage data. But then where data is sitting in a proprietary database platform, like, for example, Snowflake or SQL Server or Cosmos DB or now Oracle, you can't bring Fabric machine learning models, for example, to that data because you have to go through the ODBC connections or whatever, and it has to be executed in the native language of those platforms. So what we're doing with mirroring is replicating that data out into OneLake, into open standards, whether it's Delta or Iceberg or whatever, and it means you can bring all the capabilities of Fabric to it. But the risks of replicating of data are done away with by having free computes to replicate the data, free storage up to the size of your capacity. So like on an F64, you have 64 terabytes of free storage. And it's only one-way sync as well. You can't update a merge database. So it means it's always synced with source. You don't have to worry about data becoming.
There's no worry about conflicting stuff that you would push down, changes to the source that you wouldn't want.
Exactly. You know your data synced. You can trust your data. Oracle, every customer has Oracle. Every customer has Oracle. I'm trying to bring that data across generally means copying it around the place. We as Microsoft have competed with Oracle for many, many years. Now we're best buddies. We're hosting Oracle infrastructure in our own data centers. We've got ExaDB, we've got standard and enterprise Oracle editions. We've got them sitting in our Azure data centers, and now you can integrate it fully with Fabric through the mirroring connector. That opens up all those customers with, Oracle Business Suite, Oracle Financials, all of those Oracle CRM and ERP systems. Yeah. So personally, I think that's fantastic. I think every single customer has Oracle, and the opportunities there are endless.
When I translate that to the world of VaultSpeed, VaultSpeed is a transformation solution. That means that you don't ingest the data into your warehouse. So that's a good thing. I mean, it becomes way easier to get the data from all your operational transactional systems into your analytical system. And you don't even have to find some other tools to do it. It becomes a native capability of the Fabric platform.
That's exactly it. If you think about VaultSpeed and you're reading metadata of source systems, you don't necessarily need to go out and look for connections to other proprietary platforms. You can just connect to the mirrored DB in Fabric, and then automate the rest of the data vault from that source. It just becomes so much easier.
Okay, cool. Some have coined this in the past as zero-ETL. Is that what you would call
it? Lots of people do call it that. I kind of disagree with that terminology because if ETL or ETL, extract, transform, and load, you're missing the T there in that model.
Good answer.
Replication. It is replication. It's making the data available and optimized for analytics. That's true. Columnar, Parquet, and Delta underneath that. So you get the analytics optimizations, but you still don't have your dimensional models here. Your easy to use self-serve presentation layer. No ETL pieces for replication. You still need
zero-ETL, something like that.
Zero-ETL, yeah, maybe.
Okay, good. We got that covered. I think you also mentioned a few times the new capabilities around Copilot. Most people are interested in AI and doing stuff with AI. I think one of the primary reasons people want to get their data into the new platform, because that's where the innovation is going to happen.
Absolutely. That's incredibly exciting. I mean, the biggest announcement of Copilot last week was the lowering of the barrier to entry for Copilot. So until last week, actually, I think the change is actually going to fundamentally happen at the end of the month, on 30th of April. But F64 was a minimal requirement for having Copilot on your Fabric capacities and your workspaces. That entry point is now, we're doing away with it. So everything from an F2, the smallest capacity, upwards will have Copilot. So everybody, it's like a look under your seats, you've got Copilot.
Yeah, that's amazing. I had some conversations, really cool use cases also being built on top of Vaults, where customers are experimenting with use cases where you have to write reports, written reports to customers, stakeholders, whomever, and reports that are based on data or based on updates of data. Now, what a data vault is quite good at is looking like you can easily build like a view or a data product on top of it that tells you, hey, these are the latest changes for this particular business artifact, a customer, a product, a price, whatever. And what they're doing with it is that they're looking at that data or at that specific data product, and they're feeding it into Copilot or some LLM that they run through Fabric to basically build reports, written reports of that data. So people don't have to completely type those reports themselves anymore.
That was one of the first Copilot experiences we brought to Fabric. It is really, I love demonstrating that. It's so cool. Without any Power BI skills, you can just start with the prompts. It gives you really good prompts. It can explore the data for you. So you don't even need to know what's in the tables. You can say, here's a data set. I've never seen it before. What's interesting? What should I be looking for? And you
Yeah.
come back with recommendations. And then you can not just say, look, okay, build me a report based on these recommendations, highlighting anything that might cause a failure. And it'll automatically do that for you as well.
You can put like system prompts to kind of make it used to how you want it to react or respond.
Absolutely. And it runs on the context of the user as well. So what the user's permissions are, what they can see. It's always appropriate.
That's why you have the security AI, they go hand in hand. So you need to have both to get a good experience.
I think some of the other Copilot enhancements announced last week were around optimizations though as well. So there's like better Copilot for debugging errors or debugging performance issues and making recommendations on improving those too. Again, these are more of the pro code developer enhancements rather than the enhancements for the business end users. Skilled developers can save a lot of time in trying to find where those bottlenecks are, just using Copilot as your kind of sidekick to debug codes and make optimizations.
Okay, cool. And then another one, and I think it came on pretty early in the keynote presentation. I saw an update around digital twins. Now,
Digital Twin Builder.
Good to first explain what those are for people who don't know that.
So this is part of RTI, real-time intelligence in Fabric. So you can visually represent your physical infrastructure. So if you're a manufacturer or maybe an energy company, and you've got lots of devices, sensors around your infrastructure, you can stream the data in and visually represent that ontology within the Fabric portal without going out and finding other tools. And that can all be streamed in real time through that. You can run out your analytics and machine learning models and do predictive maintenance over it. And it's just a super visual interface. I love how visual it is. It feels interactive. It feels like there's something tangible that you're watching.
Yeah, I saw the demo. It looked quite good. How would you relate that? So it's a streaming solution to really have a good overview of what's going on in that twin version of your operations, basically. Let's say you wanna kind of hit the tape recorder and say, I want to track the history of this entire thing. Would a data vault be of use? Build on top of such a digital twin solution?
Absolutely. Just for the full explanation of RTI, it's a kind of a consolidation of a number of Azure services. We've got Event Hubs, Stream Analytics, the custom query engine, which is Azure Data Explorer, all kind of pre-configured and plugged together. We've added new sources. They were announced last week, including MQTT. Lots of manufacturers rely on that protocol for their sensor data. So that's now supported as a source. So as the data flies in through this real-time engine, it's massive. It's absolutely massive. 10 exabytes are processed through this every month. It's just mind-blowing how you can plug your Power BI reports on top of that, or you can have all sorts of triggers to perform actions on that data in real time. But in parallel, that data is then landed into Delta as well. So this is, for me, the entry point for your data vault, and you can have that data real-time processed out from Delta, like a mirrored database that we described before, and then build that into your real-time Lambda architecture within Data Vault.
Okay, cool. Yeah, fantastic. Looking at the time, okay, we have like 10 minutes left. I had a few topics left on the radar here because they particularly relate a bit more to also what VaultSpeed is doing. Materialized use is probably one of them. APIs for improved CI/CD. Very interesting if you want to get VaultSpeed's codes deployed into your Fabric runtime.
Absolutely.
Airflow, native Airflow in a data factory. So that's a good one. And perhaps also the migrations. The fact that migrations become a component of Fabric. So if you're migrating all SQL Data Warehouse, Synapse primarily, I think is the target. That can also be interesting. Yeah.
The migration tooling, I think, is really interesting. Like, typically migrations are risky, time-consuming, expensive projects. They're just unavoidable at times. But we've got so many SQL Server. We've had it for 35 years. So we've got a lot of customers running SQL Server. We've got a huge amount of customers running dedicated SQL pools and signups. So all of these customers kind of want to find their way into Fabric with minimal cost and interruption to their business. That's what this free tooling within the Fabric portal gives you. You can just choose to migrate a Synapse database or data warehouse or state from SQL Server directly from that environment. It will perform an assessment. It will perform a code conversion. So it'll convert all of your DDL and your DML. It will migrate all of your data. And this is the piece that's unique for migration tooling. It'll actually repoint all of the reports to Fabric after the migration as well. So minimal downtime and minimal effort there. One of my customers has on one of their Synapse dedicated SQL pools, and they got a 98% conversion rate at the first attempt. And I think they finished their migration in about 2 days or something. It was incredibly quick. So it's just, again, de-risking all of those migrations and making them simple and quick, reliable, just accelerating our customers' journey into Fabric. Everybody wants to leverage the capabilities of Fabric, just making it easier and at no cost for customers.
Yeah, making it easy and inexpensive at no cost for people to make the choice towards Fabric. Cool.
There is a very cool use case for VaultSpeed, though, for migrations, which I think people should be aware of. But if you're currently using VaultSpeed on any other platform and you want to move to Fabric, you can reuse the metadata that's already held in VaultSpeed and just change your destination to Fabric, and it'll regenerate all of your logic, all of your objects, and deploy
then natively into Fabric and of course regenerate for Fabric. But the fact that you can move the data is also really important if you're running on Synapse dedicated. I mean, if you really wanna move all the data as well, you need a tool that can do that. So it's very interesting that this becomes available as well.
Yep, all in one.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to those use cases of people really migrating. Airflow, Data Factory, where is it going? Airflow now coming very early onto the platform, where before on Azure Data Factory it was in preview, but here a very clear choice apparently has been made to bring Airflow into the mix early on.
You've touched on it there. Yeah, it's been in Data Factory for like 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, something like
public preview the whole time. It is GA now in Fabric. Isn't that nuts? Like, I mean, it's yeah, Data Factory is still not GA for the Airflow integration, but it is in Fabric. So that just demonstrates where our investments are at the moment. Fabric is the future, that's a strategic platform. And most of our engineering efforts are going into making Fabric, building as many capabilities in there, making them enterprise ready for our customers as quickly as possible. And that's a clear demonstration of that. Apache Airflow is obviously a very popular platform for orchestration, code first type of orchestration. We're building your DAGs with Python.
We natively generate for Airflow. We think it's very, very interesting. We've seen the best success and the best support for what we generate with Airflow. It just works. So that becoming part of the Fabric ecosystem is a big thing for us at VaultSpeed as well.
That's it. And with no management overhead, it's completely SaaS. It's completely hosted in Fabric. It just works, like you said. Yeah, absolutely.
And then maybe the final one before we conclude on improved APIs for CI/CD. So it should become easier to also for VaultSpeed code to deploy that code into your Fabric environment with less friction, more easy.
Yeah, I mean, the vision for Fabric is everything. There's an API for everything. But there's a limit to our engineering resources. We're getting there. We've got full GitHub integration. We're now supporting all of the Git APIs as well. But I think you reported a gap to me, and I reported that up to engineering about 2 years ago on getting the tokens.
Yeah, I saw that in the keynote as well. So that was an interesting one. I said, yeah, nobody else do that. Fantastic. Yeah.
I think you were the first ones to report that. So yeah, I worked one to close the gap for automation. Now you can have like a full end-to-end automation with no human intervention. So yeah, that's very exciting. Yeah, I mean, look, these are like small little details.
Yeah, but in the end, if you get all the code automated, then you still have to like take a wheelbarrow to get it to the Fabric environment, yeah, that doesn't work. And part of the automation is gone, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
very cool.
I absolutely love Falca's hat. I'm feeling like my hat.
I bought it in Vegas on the conference.
I'll send a hat over to you in Dublin, Ian. Guys, I hate to stop you already. There's so many announcements, great stuff between Microsoft and VaultSpeed happening. We are running out of time, unfortunately. So let me thank you once more, Ian, Jonas, for sharing these announcements and its impact on screen. You can find the QR code with Microsoft. We share this technical blog where we will soon also post a new article. So keep it on your radar. You can find us on LinkedIn, of course, and the websites. Thank you all.
Review it.
Oh, okay. It's on Ian's to-do list, okay?
Okay.
I've done the Article 13. We've got 14 articles, I think, in total planned. So one more coming.
And that's specifically on Fabric, VaultSpeed, doing automation, doing data vaults, with no ETL, Falcon.
Indeed, without ETL or ETL in a different way, and they get read across the globe. We have customers in New Zealand, in Europe, in the US reading the blog and ordering it even on the Azure Marketplace. Click of a button and you get VaultSpeed. All right, we're at the bottom of the hour. Gentlemen, thank you so much. All Microsoft friends around the world, thank you for joining us, and see you in Fabric Europe. That's in Vienna. Ian?
I'll be there.
Okay, and see you also next year in Vegas. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.